The verse of scripture in the Bible that I wrestled with or meditated on as a concept for the longest was, well, it's not even a verse, it's one of the commandments. Honour thy mother and father. I finally came to an understanding of the word honour. Just get food off my face. To honour something is to honour what it is. To honour it for what it is. To accept the truth of who your mother and father were. It didn't mean falling in line or bowing to their superior wisdom. It didn't mean perpetuating the cycles of abuse by playing the role that I've always played. Because I have to honour me. I have to honour what I need in this life. And it's one thing not receiving love, because people don't have access to that themselves. But it's another thing to not be receiving love and to just be giving love. Giving and giving and giving. The roles and personas and masks that we've adopted in society, all false obligation. Anything which removes me from the space where I can serve myself and my immediate needs creates a deficit in energy, time, space. But that is eventually what causes death. Life in the present moment, here, this is where karma is burned off in the light of awareness. That's why meditation is so important, and why society is hyper-stimulated to keep buzzing along like the good little battery cells that they are. But what good is it if I keep allowing myself to be drained by this world? How efficient is the service I am able to provide and offer? Human connections are feedback loops. We can't self-care for somebody else. We can't do the things that somebody else needs to do for themselves, for them. And we definitely can't force people to love themselves. I had to step outside of the dynamic of my family, the ones who I grew up with, grew up around, because being in that feedback loop demanded I be something that I'm not. And so, being in that feedback loop caused me to be scapegoated and abandoned, to show me where I had been abandoning myself. But also to show me what life is like outside of any hive mind, any cult, any groupthink. Everything is energy. We're all psychically connected somewhere along the line. We don't have to put up with anybody being a source of negative equity from our energy. We have a responsibility to guard and protect and preserve our energy, because our energy is so vital and potent and necessary. The more energy we have available, the more we are able to perform miracles, create holy things that never existed before. So, we need to stop perpetuating the cycles of nonsense. We need to love ourselves enough to fiercely guard our own energy and aura above all else in this world, because who else is looking after that? Who else is taking care of our spiritual hygiene? Nobody. And if you leave it unchecked, it gets on top of you very quickly. That's what leads to burnout, illness, death. So many humans have martyred themselves in the name of family. Essentially for humans who wouldn't have done the same thing. Like it's a demanded sacrifice. No. All of the ancestral patterns and traumas that I have been a part of dissolving within my bloodline, for the most part, were healed in the absence of the people who were part of it. It's like if you speak to somebody every day, if you see them every day, you're too close to see. Your own energy, we have a responsibility to know what energy belongs to us and what's some other information that's been introduced. Saying no is saying yes at the same time to your own needs, for once in our life, despite the imagined resistance from the conditioning that you're not allowed to say no when you're a child. Of course parents know best because they're older and bigger, except that's backwards. Most humans are angry at their parents. The lucky ones are able to access that emotion, to understand it for what it is, because it's very destructive and it's ignorant and off-center. But just because I can forgive and be compassionate and understand, it doesn't mean that anybody from my past is going to be a part of my future. I became my own parent. That's how I moved on. I'm learning how to be the nurture and guidance that I had never really received. And by understanding where I was emotionally manipulating myself, not just with regards to family, but in any human connection, anytime I played a role, and was involved in transactional, conditional, sentimental love, with this idea that we're supposed to take care of our parents, especially in their old age. But where does it mention when you've tried? Where does it speak about what to do when your whole family wants nothing to do with you and wants to make it seem like it's your fault as well? What's the answer when the ones who you would call your blood family have all been taken out by a mind virus? Just to pray. just to acknowledge the strength that it takes to become your own family in this life, and adamantly stay alone in your energy despite the many temptations to settle for, energetics that are not that beneficial. To preserve your energy field like that. To not have been overcome by bitterness and loneliness. That's a miracle. It's a miracle because the false world construct was finely tuned to perpetuating misery. Just a giant machine that eats everything. And yet we slip through the teeth. It's impossible to heal in the same environment that made you sick. It kind of makes sense, right? So if there's a plant and the soil is overly acidic, and then the flower starts to show signs of damage, but there's nothing that you can pour onto the flower, onto the petals, to remedy that. The flower needs to be replanted in a more balanced environment. Otherwise, the growth of the flower, the potential is limited. I guess we're all uprooting ourselves and being implanted in larger beds so that we can grow into rose bushes together. That's what the garden is about.